up guys, thanks for tuning in on today's video. My name is Gabe and today I'm going to be going over my experience with the Megan Racing coilovers that I have installed on my 2010 Camaro SS. Now before I begin the review, I would like to say a couple of things. First off, by saying that these coilovers, or this coilover set, was actually a birthday gift from my best friend back in 2018, I believe. So it's been around with me for about 2 years or so. It has completely changed the way my car drives and the way my car looks, and I'm just super grateful. And one of the reasons why I actually haven't been able to sell my car, not because no one would buy it, is because it'd be really difficult for me to sell a car that has, you know, a gift attached to it. Just selling a gift, it's just really hard to do it, and I just haven't brought myself to actually go ahead and pull the trigger on it. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started with this review. So Megan Racing, or Megan Racing, makes a variety of different coilovers for different applications and different cars. The ones that I have mounted on my 2010 Camaro SS are part of the Easy Street series, but depending on where you actually buy it and from which type of website, they can range from anywhere from $650 to all the way to $780 or $800. So it really depends on where you're buying them from, the conditions that they're in. Now compared to other brands like BC and H&R, these Megan Racing Easy Street coilovers are very, very appealing when it comes to pricing. From what I understand of these Easy Street series coilovers that I have on my car, they're really primarily used for street use, hence the name Easy Street. They're not the ideal coilover set if you're planning on consistently tracking your car for the durability, but they're rather made for enhancing the driving capabilities within the city or the countryside, you know, for a couple turns here and there that you have, maybe getting off or on highway ramps. So the actual coilovers that I have on my car are picked out in this really nice bright blue turquoise blue color that really goes well with the aqua blue metallic color of my exterior paint. So these coilovers are completely and fully adjustable, meaning that you can adjust the spring rate, you can adjust the ride height, and you can even adjust the dampening settings. Now the spring rate and the ride height can be adjusted by a set of keys that Megan Racing provides for you, and essentially what you would have to do is just raise or lower the locks to adjust the appropriate settings that you would like. I actually lowered my car about 3/4 of an inch. I didn't do the full inch just because I didn't want the tires to rub and just all of that mess going on. Now for the dampening settings, there's actually 15 different modes or levels. You can adjust them by moving the dial either clockwise or counterclockwise. I believe the 15 is the hardest and the number 1 is the softest amount. So as I mentioned earlier, I've had these coilover sets for about 2 years now, and I actually have not had any sort of problems whatsoever. None of the struts, none of the springs, nothing has gone wrong, which is actually great, because I think that 1 year, 2 year, maybe even 3 year, you start to see the coilovers or the parts start to slowly deteriorate. What I find is that over the last 2 years or so, I've been actually driving on 2 different occasions, which was highway driving and city driving. Now both of those different driving settings are very, very distinctive from each other when you're actually driving with these coilovers. Right now I have them on the 15 setting, the most aggressive setting. I'm typically driving more through the city, so that's about 70% of the time. So in the city you're prone to more bumps, a lot more potholes, just a lot of imperfections in the road like such. I mean, I'm passing by a little area right here, and it's very, very manageable. It's very easy. The city that I live in is very developed, and the roads are, I'd say about 90% of the time, very, very drivable and very friendly, which is why these coilovers make a lot of sense. And the other 30% of the time I'm on the highway, and I have to say that the highway is obviously the more enjoyable drive, just because there aren't as many situations like in the city that you're gonna find potholes or imperfections on the road. It's generally more maintained than streets are. But for the most part, driving on the highway is definitely the most enjoyable part. This is my daily driver car, so I really appreciate the fact that you can adjust all of these settings relatively easily. But I do have to say that the biggest improvement and the biggest difference from stock height and stock suspension is going to be the handling capabilities. I mean, getting off and getting on the highway is just like the highlight of my day now. Check it out. how different. Speechless. Absolutely speechless. I mean, the difference from the stock suspension is just night and day. I mean, the body roll has been eliminated by at least 80%. I mean, it's crazy. The car feels so much more planted because of these coilovers, and it's just awesome. The stock suspension on the Camaro SS is not bad at all. I mean, the fact that they introduced an independent rear suspension, I think it's just so cool, and it puts it above the Mustang when it comes to tracking and just cornering. Adding these coilovers just really improves and enhances that capability from the factory very, very nicely, and it's overall just handles a lot better. You know, again, in the city, you're gonna come across those opportunities to take corners, to take, you know, turns a little bit faster than what you would normally do it, and these coilovers really do help you do that in an efficient manner. I mean, you do feel very, very safe when you are taking these turns at a higher speed. Another thing I want to point out is that if I were to adjust the dampers to put it to the 1 setting, which is the softest setting, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, it won't actually drastically change to the point that it's like, wow, this is completely different. I mean, the damper settings are good. I mean, it's you can tell that there's a little difference, but it's not going to be like you're driving a Rolls Royce. You do see it more on the day-to-day driving, not so much on the cornering. You don't expect to be driving this and you know, why is it driving so aggressively? Is it broken? No, it's gonna drive still pretty harshly, just not as bad as the 15 setting. Aside from all of the handling, the driving capabilities, and the scientific, you know, explanation behind, you know, lowering the car and stuff like that, it gives this car such a mean and aggressive and overall appealing look. I mean, I love the fact that the wheel gap has drastically been improved. I mean, it's pretty much non-existent. The only reason why, again, I didn't lower it to be completely flush it because I didn't want it to rub. I also didn't want to roll the flares either. So personally, I hated the stock suspension, how it looked. I mean, the wheel gap was terrible. This is kind of an extreme comparison, but it's kind of like having a tooth gap. You know, the bigger, the more uglier it looks. Yeah, the same thing applies for this. You know, the less gap there is, the more normal and the more appealing it looks. I actually found out that one of my struts was leaking fluid. So the car was actually kind of like unbalanced, and you know, one side was taller than the other one, and one side, every time I would go over a bump, it was literally like this thing had no suspension at all. It was just terrible. But these Megan Racing coilovers definitely remedied that headache. But overall, guys, I am extremely happy with these coilovers. I'm so thankful again that my best friend got me these as a birthday present. It saved me a lot of money in the future. It makes the car look just so much meaner than before. It makes the car handle so much better, and overall just makes the car so much more enjoyable to drive. And I really, really recommend that if you're looking for coilovers, that you consider the Megan Racing series as one of the options. Alright guys, so that pretty much concludes everything. Let me know in the comments section below what did you think about this video. Is it Megan or Megan? Let me know in the comments section below. Also guys, don't forget to like this video. It helps out a lot with the algorithm, and it also really gets this video on top, so people with Camaros that are considering to buy Megan Racing coilovers or Megan Racing coilovers, they can go ahead and see my perspective on how it's been like owning them for 2 years. And also guys, don't forget to hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos or my reviews or any of these type of videos. Guys, let's help me get to 2,000 subscribers. We can get there. I know we can. That is a goal of mine for this year, 2020, to hit 2,000 subscribers. Thank you so much again for watching this video. If you have any other questions, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I'll try to get to it as soon as possible. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will catch you next time.